All right, y'all, what's going on? Yep. Like, share, subscribe, Cash App, $ Winston Spivey. So, I guess this news y'all be wanting to hear when it comes to the important stuff, really nobody cares, okay? When people, try to preach to many of the listeners, and I'm just saying that the people that applies to the people that don't care, the people that like to be entertained, all these warnings about what's going to happen and things, or what, with the economy and money and things of that nature, and the solutions that people don't people don't listen. Okay, but for if you're forward thinking people, keep doing what you do. They're not really going to listen until, like I say, either the lights turn off, or when the food's starting to run out in the grocery stores, or when these doggone the bank machines getting cut off. Okay, and then people all start listening. But you guys, some of y'all like to be entertained. So, okay, I'm going to give you what you want. Hopefully, maybe at the end, maybe we can all learn a lesson from this. So, your boy Diddy, right? Oh, and by the way, I got a message saying that I need to shut up, okay? Well, if you think you have the person that you think you are, you know where I'm at, then how about you come to me face to face and make me shut up? Because I ain't going nowhere. Now, Sean Combs, all right, y'all know him as P. Diddy. Y'all all know who he is. You know what he's done throughout the last 35 years. You know that what he's, some of the stuff that he's done that's not good. And you know what he may be facing or whatever, as far as in jail time and all that other stuff. You know what he's in trouble for. Okay? Well, a couple of things about Diddy as far as the events and all that, okay? And I think the more that he runs his mouth, the more that the lawyers runs his mouth, the worse things are really going to get, okay? Because they're looking at giving this guy the maximum or up to the maximum of 20 years, 2 counts of pros, okay? That kind of thing. And I believe it's one's the Mann Act and one's pros or whatever, okay? When you already know he's done much more than that. Diddy asked the other day to get his trial acquitted. I believe it was Thursday night, and the judge said no. The judge said no. Came all in civilian clothes and that kind of thing. And the judge, I guess, was all like, man, you know what? Are you crazy? As he was just going to, just walk and go home. All right. Yeah, that's what he pretty much said in the statement, and he was all his response is, look, this is a serious matter, and if they wanted to get him something on much more stuff, they already could have, because you already seen like the all the notes that were in the indictments and all the testimonies and that kind of thing. All right, that, and they're looking at retrying Diddy again, as far as specifically for the Mann Act. Okay, if you don't know what the Mann Act, look it up. It's basically when you are sending people across state lines for SEX. Okay, so that provision was made just for Jack Johnson at the time. At that particular time, over 100 years ago, for bringing white women across, state lines and that kind of thing. All right. I guess so he could have his pleasure with. So, I don't know. I just think that's something they need to rethink. I'm not saying that process is the right thing to do and that kind of thing. The judges or this jury feel as though it is a freedom of choice issue and that kind of thing. That as far as the rebuttal, but the judge, he's supposed to make a decision if they're going to retry him instead of giving him, a sentence, which will be October 3rd. That'll be in about a week from now, something like that, from the making of this video. So that's what they're looking at. But they have up to about 10 people, okay, escorts, that kind of thing, all right, or celebrities that they could bring forth to testify against Diddy and that kind of thing. So you're looking at, for these predicate acts, 10 years per act, okay? So if there's any evidence, all right, that corroborates with these testimonies, you know, Diddy could be looking at 100 years instead of, I don't know, what, 20 years? Which I don't think, once again, he's going to get all that time. He's going to be in for a time, and I believe he's going to get out, okay, and that kind of thing, all right? And I believe that he's still going to be pardoned, but he's going to have to be in probably for a few years, all right, before he's pardoned, all right? But he's going to be for a minute, all right? So you guys are rooting that this man is going to walk, just forget about it. It's not going to happen. Now, back to what I was saying and that kind of thing. So I think this is something that he doesn't want, but I think the more he pushes this issue is just going to make things worse. And I want to say this in closing, all right? Oh, and just so you'll know, that Diddy is requesting to talk to the judge face to face to beg for mercy and that kind of thing, all right? That he can have mercy, which I think that he will get some of that, but he's not going to get all the mercy that he wants to get, you know, particularly, you know, after he's done people wrong and things like that, putting his hands on women and men as well, and allegedly essaying children. You know, a lot of that's caught on tape. I don't know, swindling people, you know, from bad business deals and things of that nature. Really, nobody really has anything good to say about Diddy. Only a couple of people, but they're not going to come and testify that, okay, because they're going to get cross-examined, okay? So, you know, I hate to really say it, although you can't really deny the work, but I'm thinking the way that he's done people, a lot of people are not going to really have good stories to say about Diddy, okay? And I think this is one of the things that Diddy should have thought about over the years. And I believe that, once again, I don't know, probably access of 100 videos about Diddy, that people have tried to talk to him. I know it was Gene Deal, okay, which was would work with Diddy for 11 years. Quincy Jones, all right, that kind of thing. You remember Mark Curry? We made videos about him, that he's came up on the art of dialogue, all right, that kind of thing. And you have all these other people or whatever, okay, that say, look, you know what, you don't want to work with this guy, okay, or don't want to go to the parties with this guy and things like that. Don't you think that was an indicator to Diddy that he may want to make some changes and that kind of thing, okay? And he didn't want to listen. Now that they got him by the short hairs and he's facing some time, you know, now he wants to repent. Even when he went to jail, I even felt like if he would have followed the rules of, you know, the corrections officers and the rules or whatever of the correctional facility, he would have made bail and things like that, but he chose not to, okay? They use the same bold and brazen attitude as he would when he was out, okay? I mean, he even got to a point where I believe that people that were above him, okay, because he is in the craft, okay, that basically he didn't have any regards for those people too, okay, and that's the reason why he's in the situation that he's in. So that I'm thinking for a while, you know, he needs to sit down for a while and things of that nature. But I'm thinking for the most part, y'all, he should have really thought about that, okay, these things. And now he wants to beg for mercy, all right? So I think that, once again, he's starting to show remorse, okay, because of the fact that he wants to get out, okay? Get out so he can keep on doing the same stuff he's been doing. Hell, he didn't even show really any improvement since he even been in, okay? Didn't follow the programs correctly and that kind of thing. Anyway, so that's where we're at right now as far as in Diddy, and as well as Diddy, as well as Jay-Z are being pushed aside, you know, for other people or whatever. Like, I believe it's Nas and 50 Cent to be, you know, billionaires and all that. So, and this is what happens when you're in any organization and you're not really following the rules or guidelines or whatever that they want you to follow. That's any organization. Okay, you're gonna pay through the nose. So that's something you want to think about or whatever, particularly if you want to get into that, you know, that industry and things of that nature, because you're going to do a lot of stuff on top of that that's not good. All right, the Most High is, you know, that's definitely the best way. All right, so let me know what you think about the video here. All right, and there'll be more to talk about later.